Hello. Right, this is another core blitz session. Blitz, because we're just going to blitz through it so fast. We're going to be one round on the abs, one round on the ass, and that is it. We're in, we're out, and that is it. If you don't need any equipment, just yourself. So stop relying on your back. Lie down on your back. We start with pelvic tilts, just going to warm up the abs. So you're just aiming to bring your pelvis towards your ribs and then put it in your way. So just kind of the lower back that's moving. You're tucking your tailbone under and then release. It's just a little tilt and untuck. Tilt and untuck. Trying to get almost not eliminating the arch of the back necessarily, but kind of flattening it and trying to get that kind of straight line from your head through to your tailbone. Kind of scooping out the abs. And I just go for a little hold and pause. Everything is going to be, by the way, at 1 minute. There's no breaks really. So if you need to take breaks, untuck, retuck, hold it again. If you need breaks, you just obviously take them where you need. Tuck and hold as strong and firm and solid as you can. Untuck again, and then one more tuck, hold. Oh, it's gonna burn. Let's go into tabletop crunches. So bringing the knees over the hips, shins parallel to the floor, and then you're just gonna crunch up and then lower down. So tuck your chin, look through your thighs, and you're just peeling your shoulders away from the floor and then lowering them back down again. So shoulders away from the floor and lowering them back down. Now, if this is actually too much in tabletop, just tap your toes down to the floor and stick with a normal crunch up and down. The goal is it's a smooth movement and that your lower back stays on the floor, so you're not lifting all the way up into a full sit-up. If your head gets a little bit too heavy for your neck, just support it really gently without yanking it forwards. But if you can, just keep the hands lifted and just give that smooth curl up and curl down. Been listening to ABBA for a week. Poor neighbours. Nice. From here, just rest the hands down to the floor. Keep your lower back close to the floor. You're going to tap your toes down and then lift them up. So tapping your toes down and away and then lift up. The goal here is kind of to move your thighs away from you. Keep roughly 90 degrees at the knee and come up rather than just relaxing the calves down and lifting up. So it's the movement of the legs going away from your body. So you're going to feel as you do that, your lower back is going to try and pull away from the floor. You're trying to keep that pelvic tilt, that tuck, that brace. And if you're struggling here, you can be in tabletop and do one leg at a time. So right and the left. Or if that's a little bit too much, have both toes down on the floor and then lift one, lower down and lift the other. So choose kind of the option that's right for you, where you feel it in your abs and not in your back. Still a smooth motion. Right, so we're going for reverse crunches. So basically you're going to lift your tailbone away from the floor. So lift your tailbone up and then down. It might not actually lift away from the floor. I can maybe get like my thumb lightly underneath and then lower down. The thing I tend to see the most here is this kind of swinging motion. And if you can, you're going to try and keep it really small and basically just thinking about lifting your knees upwards rather than pulling your knees towards you. And then just watching out that the knees, if they're going to try and keep drifting forward, and if they do, reset them over the hips. Now, this is one of those ones, again, if you need less, it might be that your bum doesn't leave the floor at all. You just feel it brace and release. You can do it with the toes down. Again, just thinking of slightly lifting the tailbone off and lowering down. So we lift in and lowering, but try not to push through your feet here, because that's working more into the legs and the butt. We are going to combine all of those moves. So you're going to crunch up, place the hands down, tap the toes, and then lift the tailbone. And then repeat. So go for the crunch, upper body lifts, legs move away, down in, and then tailbone lifts, up and down. Okay, just keep going for that as slowly and as smoothly as possible. It's not about getting like loads and loads and loads and loads of reps. It's getting really smooth, controlled reps. So take your time, make it smooth, squeeze it up, lower down. And we're really nearly done with the abs, by the way. You've got about 1 minute 20 of abs to go, and then they're done. So you can afford to try and maybe see if you can crunch up a little bit higher. Yes, you can just squeeze out that extra millimeter. Maybe you want to tap your toes a little bit further away from you. Maybe give us your tailbone higher as long as it's not jolting. And the final thing, just keep your legs at tabletop, lift your upper body, and then crunch and pulse. Lift and lift and lift, and it's going to stay in the top part of the range. So if you get stuck, same deal with the legs, you can tap them down to the floor. Same deal with the head, you can support it. If it's your abs that are really shaking, perfect. If you do find you need a break or your shoulders are starting to come down, take a full break. And then get back up and see how high you can crunch. And it might be post-break that you actually grab your thighs, crunch yourself up high, actually using your upper body, your arms, and then try and hold that crunch and lift higher and higher, higher and higher. You've got 15 seconds to go, and then it's abs completely done, totally done. So see if you can stay just a little higher. Check the knees haven't drifted towards you. They naturally do, mine do as well. You just pull away and lift and lift. Oh, relax. Stretch your legs out long, stretch your arms out long, arch your back away from the floor. So just stretching out the belly. And now we're going to go into the butt, into the ass. So find your hip reach with your heels not too close to the bum, so a little bit far enough away that you could thread 1 foot under. Spoiler. And just going to lift your hips up away from the floor, squeeze your butt, and then lower yourself down. Remember that pelvic tilt, then lift. And then the goal here is going to be to try and not lift so high that you then lose the tilt and then stretch your abs out. So you want to keep your abs braced. If that means hips a little bit lower, or it should mean hips a little lower, then that's perfect. That's more likely to isolate the butt. The butt, the booty, the bottom, the glutes, the good stuff. Okay, stop. I'm sorry. The clench and then release. So always getting that roll up and trying to clench your butt as hard as you can. Clench your butt as hard as you can. Nice. So you're going to hold the hips off the floor, and then you go for an alternate leg lift. So you're going to lift one leg off, pull the knee kind of back over the hip, place it back down, feel the weight shift into that leg, and then other leg lifts, and then lower. So you're just going to feel the weight shift from one leg into the other. If you start feeling this in any muscles that aren't your bum, so if you feel it in your back, maybe your inner thighs, then stop. Maybe your upper thighs, your quads, stop, have a break, and then try and come down and re-clench your bum, even if it means your hips are closer to the floor. If you feel it in your hamstrings, that's the backs of the legs, that's not the end of the world, because like I said, moving that foot position further away, I didn't say it, like I say, moving your foot position further away will target the hamstrings a bit more, as long as you do feel it in your bum. And it might be, I should have given you an option way earlier. You can just go for an alternate heel lift, by the way, if it's a little bit too much. So we're going to hold one leg up, and one foot is just going to push away and then pull in. Push away and then pull in. Like the walls coming towards you, you're going to press it away. Then it'll pull. Now the goal here is to try and keep your hips level so they're still pointing up evenly towards the ceiling. You're going to put all the pressure into the supporting leg, whichever one that might be. And it continuously clenching your butt, even though your leg is moving around, you're not moving your body around. Yet if you feel it's a little bit too much for you, come down in between each rep and then lift, press in, and then come down. And then just see what works for you. Maybe you need extra breaks. And if you do, that's completely fine. Just shows you need to work on the strength of the back of your body. Hold it up. Push in and pull in. Your bum should be burning quite nicely now. Just the one butt cheek, the one on the floor. Now hold the hips up again. The foot that's moving, point the toes, and then thread it underneath your legs, and then lift up. So you're going to thread underneath, and then lift. If that's a little bit too much, just tap your toe down by the floor, and then lift again. So for a little toe tap down, and then lift. The same thing here. We're aiming to keep the hips super level as you thread underneath, despite the fact they're going to want to go like that and twist. No, we can't demonstrate this standing up. You're going to want to twist, but your hips are going to want to drop. So the goal is to keep the hips lifted, thread under as far as you can manage. And as soon as you thread underneath, you might even feel a little bit of the side of your bum on the supported leg, as well as the back of the bum that's holding you up. If you didn't have space to thread underneath, that's why you just need to move your leg a little bit further away. And like we did with the core, we combine the two. We're going to combine the two. So you're going to push the leg away, little pull, point the toes, thread underneath, and then lift. Press, pull, point, thread, and lift. I'm not worried at all if your hips are basically on the floor. Don't even mind if they are on the floor. So maybe you're just pushing here and you're putting loads of pressure through your supporting leg and you're feeling your bum, and I'm happy. Not worried about height, just about tension in the butt and stability in the hips and the pelvis. And I'm hoping the leg that's on the floor, as I say, is now feeling really fatigued. There's nothing wrong if it's not the bum to take the break, come back in, make sure it's the butt that's firing up. For some reason our butt, even though it's a big muscle, it gets lazy. Other muscles start to help out. We want to get the bum. Oh my God, it hurts. And then we're just going to switch legs. So place that foot down, other leg lifts up, and you just go for those leg extensions. Push away and pull. Press and pull. Same as the other core. It's not about moving quickly. It's about moving with a bit of intention, being quite precise, being as stable as possible. Ass on fire. Oh, ass on fire. So same things apply. Breaks aren't failing. Sometimes failing is just finding it. Kind of failing can even be if you push through and you do the whole time feeling in a different muscle. So actually, sometimes just finding failure where you're like, oh God, I need to have a break. It's not failure. It just means you find your limits, and that's fine. Let's go for that second move. Point the toe, push, thread it underneath. Oh, my leg's a bit close. And then lift. Knee back over the hip. Threading underneath and lift. Threading and lifting. Keeping it smooth. Threading and going. I don't want you to look at this, but I'm going to point it out. Didn't do a great job of tidying my background today. Got cables in the background. Didn't puff up the pillows. But can you see my ducks? Yeah, they're cute. They're not as cute as my duck Norman. He's got glittery boots. Anyway, sometimes I just hope some of my boring chat is just a bit of a distraction from the burning sensation that you should be feeling in your bum. You know, after this, we've got to combine the two. So in 10 seconds, there's just 1 minute there. Just 1 minute. So the combination, you go for the push, pull, point the toes, thread under, and then lift. You can absolutely push down your hands down into the floor to help you stay stable. You can push your shoulders down into the floor to help you stay stable. Just to make sure the predominant, most amount of tension is going through the foot into the floor. That can be the heel of the foot as well as the ball of the foot. Just really firing out the back of your leg and your body. And the whole time, you might not even be mindful that you're doing it, but you are bracing your abs to keep your hips from twisting around. So remember that option if you need to tap down at any point, or if you feel it in the wrong place, stretch it out, go back up. You're only 10 seconds from done. You can enter my classes, you'll see now. That's always took me a long time to say, because I like a round number. Bam. Nice, perfect. Both feet down on the floor now. And now just lift your hips up and pulse and pulse and pulse and pulse. So slow squeezes, clenching both butt cheeks and pushing evenly into both your feet. This is it, 45 seconds, and it's completely done, apart from just stretching out the bum. So how hard can you clench? How hard can you clench? You are basically in control of how hard your bum is working right now. So it's really about actively clenching harder than you want to. Maybe it feels a little bit crampy. And then how hard can you push your feet into the floor? Can you put more pressure in? Can you push with a little bit more intensity? You've got another 8 seconds to go. Keep it small, keep it smooth, keep it squeezy. Like you're trying to wring out the last couple of drops out of the sponge. It's really like, oh, so close. You've got here 3 and 2 and 1. Relax down. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Reach for the left leg and pull the leg towards you. Oish. Feel the stretch in your right butt cheek. Short and so sweet. Short but spicy, hopefully. And switch your legs. It was Gaz, if you're doing these videos, it was Gaz that said to me I should have like a spice level rating of glasses. It's burning. And that is us about to be done. Yeah, perfect. Just grab your thighs, rock yourself up. Congratulate yourself, praise yourself. Having loads of conversations recently about people just being quite mean to themselves. You wouldn't be mean to your friends, your family, or colleague, or someone like that. So praise yourself. Well done for doing it, getting in and doing your best. If you've got any questions or feedback, stick around and see me. Stick around and see me. That's habit. Write me a message and let me know, and then hopefully I'll see you at another workout soon.